Hi my friends, this video is to walk you through very quickly the steps of scanning, a bit of lettering or hand illustration that you want to be able to recolor afterwards or invert and use on different backgrounds, and I want to be able to give you the most robust way of doing that so that you can color it any way flexibly and use over top of your artwork or photos. I am having a hard time keeping this 5 minutes or less, but I'm going to try to cut out a lot of detail to get you quickly on your way. First step is you want to isolate, you want to compress your darks and lights and get rid of any detail in your highlight area. We're going to bring up a curve adjustment. We're going to use the sliders to bring in the darks and make them as dark as you want. You can either blow out all the detail. I like some of the detail because it kind of reminds the viewer that this comes from an organic handmade source, and it's kind of nice to see that. So I'm going to push up the highlights now to, you can see I'm getting rid of the highlights and I'm following this curve looking at where those light areas drop off, and I'm kind of coming close to that edge. So I want to keep some values and I don't want to lose detail in my artwork, but I want to get rid of any of the light areas in the background that aren't helping me. So play with that until you find the right selection that works for you and doesn't pick up too much detail in the light areas. Now we're going to jump right into the channels quickly over here. You could select that channel directly. There's many ways to do this. I'm not going to do this one because it ends up choosing the white areas. I actually want to select the black areas, so I would have to do an invert of my selection, which you can do that. The other way to do this is which is maybe the most straightforward to work with, is to create a new alpha channel and invert that. So Command I will just invert the values. Now everything that's white will provide a selection for you. And now I'm going to Command click on the icon of my black and white alpha channel there, and I have now chosen everything that's white. Let's go back to layers, choose that white layer. Now I'm going to use the Command J, which will jump that selection to a new layer and just the selection. So I'm going to turn off that layer underneath, and this is what we have promoted to a new layer, which is perfect, except that it has a white halo around everything. Now if I went to change this to a color image, you'd see the effect a little better. So let's go make this color. And let's fill the background with that color. And you'll see that I have that halo with the black type. I want you to lock this layer because we want to lock the transparency of that layer so I can fill it with any color I choose, whether white or a different color. In this case, I'm going to choose black first just to show you that if I fill with black again, with the transparency locked, it actually makes it a lot more solid, and it gets rid of any of those white pixels that were in there. It still has some transparency, which you'll see better if I fill it with white. Like you'll see now, I fill it with white. You still have a little bit of that detail in there, which is great for making it look authentic. But I've locked the transparency, and now I can fill it with any color I choose. Let's go move it into a photograph and place it over a photograph background, and you'll see that can just move nicely over everything, and it lets a little bit of that image show through. You can see his eye through there because I didn't push the contrast of black and whites all the way so that those blacks were solid dark. They had a bit of gray in them. If I want that to be more solid though, all I have to do is duplicate my layer, make that a second layer on top, and now I can sandwich those two together with Command E. That'll sandwich all my selected layers, and now I have a more solid version of that. It just depends on how much transparency you want, how many other values, or how much texture you want, or how solid. Now quickly I'm going to go to, because I only have half a minute left, I want to go to look at an option of a lettering piece that has very low contrast. This one, I have to step back a few steps. This one was very low contrast, and I want to increase the contrast, go into my curves again, and push these lows and these highs and lows together a little bit. Get some more darks in there, but I might leave more texture in this case. It looks like I still have some highlights there I want to get rid of. There we go. Maybe about that much. So I've got a white clean background. Going to my channels, selecting that, I'm inverting my selection. Now I'm promoting that to a new layer by Command J, and I'm turning that off. Now I got to lock that transparency. If I bring that back over to another image, you can see that I have, where did it go? Uh-oh, I'm gonna go over time. I'm over 5 minutes now. Yikes. It's because of errors. Sorry guys. You've got the main points. You can just stick with what I showed you before. If you want a little bit more, here's the copy, here's the text. That's the scanned image. I've got my transparency. So now I can fill it with black or fill it with white. Get rid of that halo around the edge, and we're good to go. Thank you guys. Ask me any questions. I'd be happy to help and provide any more details if I've left anything out. Have fun with this. Bye.